We remain bullish on Tesla because we're optimistic as far as regulatory approvals and getting a regulatory framework related to autonomous driving.
Autonomous. We do think that Tesla is getting ready to launch its autonomous service.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock finished down about 3.5% on the closing bell Friday, and another percent in the after hours. Currently sitting at about $357.36 per share. Now let's go ahead and look back about a year for Tesla. Take a look at this chart. At the moment, we are currently experiencing a bit of a healthy regression of TSLA. Back in about late November, halfway through the post-election rally, TSLA was sitting at around $332 per share. Just before the election, TSLA was at about $242 per share. There's no telling how TSLA is going to react in the short term. But at these current levels, yeah, you bet your bottom dollar that I'll be buying shares on Monday. Should Tesla fall below 330, your boy is definitely going to be placing calls. If we are so fortunate to see levels right before the election, your boy will be placing leaps like he's never placed leaps before. I'm talking calls that might expire in 2027, even 2028. Whether or not any of these scenarios play out, well, that's yet to be seen. But as long as individuals are still looking at TSLA as an automotive stock, there will be vast differences of opinion on what they feel TSLA should be valued at.
So Garrett, let's start with Tesla because, some disappointing numbers out of China this morning with Chinese deliveries falling 11%. Tesla shares, only down about 0.8% on this news. I know you're a Tesla bull with the second highest price target on the street. Does the China situation impact your bullishness at all?
Not too much. I think what we're seeing is near-term softness in sales, not only in China, but also we got the Germany numbers yesterday. Not entirely unexpected, really. We remain bullish on Tesla because we're optimistic as far as regulatory approvals and getting a regulatory framework related to autonomous driving in the United States. I think that will come sooner rather than later. It became clear after Tesla's robo-taxi day back in October that the story was all about autonomous driving going forward.
Autonomous driving, you say? Go on.
And you look at the value of the company, in our view, it's still trading at a fraction of the market opportunity here, which we estimate to be north of $5 trillion if you look at the global autonomous driving opportunity. So we're buyers on this dip that we've seen in the stock this week.
So Garrett, if you have to give a percentage of how much of your price target has to do with Tesla as an automaker, an EV maker, and how much of it has to do with the AI and FSD story, what is the EV percentage at this point?
We think the EV part of it is really priced in. That's been the story the first half of this decade. You look the past 5 years, the story was all about EV growth. Their EV growth in terms of sales volume sort of stalled out last year. Their sales actually declined slightly year over year. But what they did with their earnings release last week is they really ratcheted back expectations for the earnings growth that investors should be expecting this year. The sales growth, before they were talking 20 to 30% growth, now they're saying just a slight increase. And so we like that expectations have been reset. And, it's really about autonomous driving going forward.
It would be remiss if I didn't mention that all auto manufacturers, their sales were down. When it comes to EV sales, some people might have had more EVs sold than they did previously. That's only because they weren't selling many to begin with. But this macroeconomic environment for anybody that sells cars has been challenging. When you compare Tesla to the rest of the automotive industry, they're obviously doing just fine. While these numbers may be pretty bad, they don't paint the entire picture. Tesla's Model Y, the best-selling vehicle on the planet, yeah, that just got a refresh. Not only drastically changing the way this vehicle looks, but improving many of the features within. Something tells me this decline in sales will be short-lived.
What we've seen since they incorporated AI into the development of full self-driving, over the last few years, is we've really seen very significant improvements of the quality of the product throughout with each version. They rolled out a version 12. Now they're on version 13. It's really staggering the improvement that they're making in that product. And in our view, they're just not getting enough credit for that.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. Your mother. Right. Some of the OG beta testers for FSD has just recently received 13.2.7. Your boy, he's rocking 13.2.6 and is thoroughly satisfied with that product. With each point released, Tesla becomes closer and closer to unveiling more and more features that will ultimately lead to an unsupervised software. With the rapid release of these updates coming from the AI team at Tesla, it's no wonder that they're quite bullish that there will be an unsupervised software in and around the Austin area. I wonder what that'll do for the stock when Tesla starts making money per mile instead of per car.
Fill us in on your key takeaways from the Ford earnings and, why you're becoming even less optimistic that there's any room to run.
Yeah, Ford is sort of a mess right now. They beat for the quarter, but the guidance was just so weak that they put out for 2025. They're just, Ford is so levered to the domestic truck and SUV market. And what we've seen is really a pullback in spending on the really big ticket trucks, the F-Series trucks that they make. And it really accounts for the bulk of their profits. So what I can say is there's an inventory glut in the United States. You look at the end of December, new vehicle inventories in terms of days supply across the market was at 75 days. The historic average is 60 days, so we're above average. But if you look at Ford, the Ford brand, their inventories were at 113 days, and actually much higher than that when you look at their Lincoln brands.
God damn, that's a lot of inventory. Needless to say, Ford has not been doing too hot lately. Various aspects of the business is in the but a promise to bring automation, technological luxury to your future vehicles might just be the shot in the arm Ford needs. Let's not forget that this is the first auto manufacturer to adopt the NACS, a move that they probably didn't want to do, but it only made sense, not only from a consumer's perspective, but it made quite a bit of financial sense. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Ford comes to an agreement with Tesla to adopt their full self-driving technology. It would be beneficial to their consumers and make a lot of financial sense, considering they wouldn't have to develop their own technology to do so. There's nothing we can do about the current inventory buildup that Ford is experiencing. But if they want to move vehicles in the future, giving them the best technology couldn't hurt.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration has grown rapidly since the inception of the Department of Government Efficiency. But with Tesla shares having one of the worst weeks since the election, investors are wondering if Musk's role in Doge is pulling him away from Tesla. Obviously, Musk very visible in Washington, but not only that, Time magazine put him on the cover behind Trump's desk as the sort of de facto president, if you will. Now, we have talked before, Kathy, about Musk's multitasking. But this is sort of next level, Kathy, in terms of where he is putting his attention. Is it a concern for you as an investor?
Well, it's interesting. We were on his earnings call last week, and I don't think I've ever heard him more engaged or more into the details, answering in detail analyst questions. So as I've said before, I think he's an amazing CEO in that he is a troubleshooter. He figures out where the pinch points are, the gating factors, and he goes right at them. And I think he's doing it very effectively.
In short, no.
I mean, at the same time, the stock has taken a big hit. I mean, he may be figuring out those points, but At the same time, we got a lot of reports recently about Tesla sales, being down, deliveries being down in places like China and Germany.
Yeah, what's happening is the Model Y, which is the largest selling car in the world, is going through a refresh cycle. And I can tell you personally, I went to buy a Model Y, and at the showroom, they said, no, wait, the whole thing's going to be refreshed. This was several months ago, and lo and behold, this is where we are. So I'm happy they told me that, and I think I understand why we're seeing sales lag here a bit.
That was really nice of those Tesla employees at that showroom. I mean, they helped Elon fired those people? Yeah, that makes sense. Seriously though, if you think that the sales are going to be lacking with this refreshed Model Y looking gorgeous, went to go visit it at the Galleria the other day, had me rethinking my purchase of the refreshed Model 3 in December. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for Stygian 2.0, but when you see these new Model Y Junipers coming down the street, it's gonna make you do a double take.
So what turns it around, Kathy? What's the catalyst that moves this stock higher?
A couple of things. I think they're going to come out with their lower cost car this year. And so that will increase access to Tesla's cars. Elon's always talking about affordability, certainly working on that one. And then, of course, autonomous. We do think that Tesla is getting ready to launch its autonomous service. We know they will launch. They announced the launch in June in Austin. And the question then is, how quickly will they roll out to other cities? And we think it will be more quickly than many think.
Another headline that we saw today is that the Trump administration, as predicted or as expected perhaps, is halting the government's $5 billion program to build out a national charging network. Is that a wash for Tesla? Is that a negative for Tesla if people don't have as many places to charge? Does it benefit Tesla because they're building their own network? How do you view that?
Yeah, I think, a lot of auto companies have already signed on to Tesla's standard. And so why not use the Tesla charging network instead of duplicating expenses with government subsidies on top of that? So I think it will benefit Tesla. I think it will be good for the entire ecosystem.
Quantity for quantity's sake isn't what we need when it comes to charging. We need good quality chargers. It doesn't matter how many you build if they have a less than 60% uptime. No point in having the government pay for a service when Tesla's is doing just fine. If somebody wants to provide more chargers, that's all well and good. Let's just leave the subsidies out of it. In conclusion, Tesla's automotive numbers, they ain't looking too good. Good thing that this is more than just an automotive company. But don't get it twisted. The automotive industry is cyclical, and we're in a valley right now for everything automotive. That won't stay like that forever. Tesla is best positioned to handle these short-term headwinds, as they will be relying heavily on the new and improved refreshed most popular vehicle on the planet. Couple that with adding some new, more affordable models, which will open up the total addressable market not only here domestically, but abroad as well. Throw in the maturation of the world's leading autonomous software. I'm of a mind that by the end of this year, Tesla will have a difficult time keeping up with the demand, even if their current factories are running at max capacity. For other auto manufacturers such as Ford, licensing this technology is going to become a no-brainer. Those able to acclimate the technology on their lineups as soon as possible, it's my guess that these will be the car companies that more than likely will survive the decade. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.